Unfortunately, the development down at the World Trade Center went very slowly, partially because of the myriad levels of government and both private and public input, partially because of lawsuits. There was a big battle, remember, between Larry and his insurance companies. I've always defended three governors now in terms of how fast things are going. This is perhaps the most complex development project in the history of the world from an engineering point of view, because everything's built on top of each other. And if Larry were to not build those buildings, you can't build anything else, because it's through those buildings you get air conditioning and heat and deliveries and all that sort of stuff. It's also true that it's a good example to us when you, in this case it wasn't like Atlantic Yards, but when you litigate again and again, what happens is the economy changes and the assumptions that were made in the past, which were typically made at the top of the market, because that's when people want to build things, have to get changed, downscaled, and it would be sad if Atlantic Yards gets built without the Gehry design, which would have been phenomenal for this city. Although I gather at this point it looks like the only ways that Ratton's going to get that done is to do it at a lower cost and not to do everything at the same time. And in terms of what happens with Larry, we once offered him a deal to take him out. I always thought that if I were him, I would have taken the city up on that and walked away with his profit. If you remember, what Larry did is he took out all his equity at the beginning, and so he doesn't really have a lot of skin in the game. He has an enormous amount of upside potential, which doesn't leave the Port Authority with a lot of negotiating ability, because they're the ones that got to put some money. They're the ones that everything else stops, and we criticize if they don't. But Larry's on the other side, and for him it's a neutral to win situation. So I don't envy the Port Authority. Keep in mind, the city, we've committed to lease space in one of the buildings. That's our contribution, and that's all we can do. Sir,